Hello and welcome to the Navy Blue Corner. I'm Ian, joined as always by my good mate Lockie, and this is our season predictions episode where hopefully for the first year ever, we finally nail a few of these predictions. So when we look back at season end, we can feel like football geniuses. Wow. But look, let's waste no time. Let's get stuck straight in. Lockie, take it away with our 2023 season predictions.
Well, I didn't realize there was a drive-by coming straight away. Maybe your predictions have been a bit off, but I feel like I've been in the right areas at least.
We'll see. We'll see.
But I guess where we go wrong, though, is we love doing hot take predictions. And as we were planning for this, I was sitting there staring at a bloody blank sheet of paper being like, there's no hot takes left. Like we're just going to have a really good season. There's nothing to worry about. So I'm giving it to you. What do you have some hot takes? Because I'm in struggle down.
Well, once again, I think we've both become the same person and thought of this very similarly because it seems like most years, hot predictions, like we want to come out with something a bit crazy, but something we actually do believe in. And this year has been a struggle. It almost is that we just want consistency. We want all those boring things, but I'm going to try and liven it up. I've tried to come up with a couple. So we'll start not too, we'll have got to get the Scoville levels up or something and start a little bit low and we'll build its way up.
That's really good.
Or maybe this is really high. I have no idea, but I'm going in with my first prediction is that Mitch McGovern becomes All-Australian this year.
I really like that.
I think we spoke last season that the games that he did play, if you extrapolate that out and he actually gets on the park and plays that way all year, he makes All-Australian. Like his ability and what he showed was unbelievable. It's just about actually playing 22 games a year and staying at that level. But the way we want to play, what his attributes are with this team, I think, if he's fit, he becomes All-Australian. So that is my first one.
Love it.
Lockie, do you have any at all? I know you said you struggled with this, but I'm keen to know if you've got any for me.
No, I think that's really good. And it ties in with my key one because each year I've liked the All-Australian angle. And I've always been around it. So this is why I didn't appreciate that drive-by earlier because I feel like I've been pretty good around it. But my hot take is, so we had 5 All-Australians last season. That was tied second with Geelong. Melbourne had the most with 6. We will have the most All-Australians in the league this year. So you can take that 5, add Mitchie in, and I don't know, we'll say, Ballyfritz doesn't make it this year, and there you go. Carlton have the most. This is in the squad, sorry, the 40-man squad.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I
should have prefaced.
Doesn't seem hot enough for me. But who are you looking at? Let's go deeper. You can nail the one. That's a separate prediction. But if you nail this, now you're an absolute superstar. So who were the players? If it's 5, if it's 6, let's go 6 because we got a top last year to get there. Who are your 6 that make it for you?
Totally. Well, if I look back at last year, Cripps, obviously he's going to run it back. Dual Brownlow medalist, about to be there. Walshy as well. Once he gets back on the park. Miss a bit,
that's big.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we have short-term memories. They're going to be making these calls at the end of the season, and he's going to have had a great year. Sardi, he'll run it back, of course. No reason why he won't. Now, this is where it gets interesting. I'm not gonna put Charlie, but I'll say Harry.
Yep.
Because I'm gonna put Harry to have a bigger year.
Can't be too selfish.
No, you put me on the spot. So
surely Weeders finally gets there. Yes, thank you.
It's the year that Weeders finally breaks through that squad and gets it in there. And I can't go with your McGovern take. I've got to go somewhere.
Too many defenders.
All right, I'll go the hottest take ever. Jesse.
Oh, that is a very hot take. We'll clip that and Jesse Motlop for All-Australian for Lockie. That's his only hot prediction.
Why not?
And that's his hot take. We love it.
Tell me why he couldn't.
Look, I'm not here to debate that. And I don't want to debate that because he's going to win the Brownlow at this stage. Jesse Motlop. All right. Could win the Coleman, could do it all. But no, I like that as a smoky. Like he kicks an absolute bag, does a little bit into that midfield pushing up. Who knows? Could be spectacular. Sure. He's in that highlight reel position that you saw Stengel do it last year.
Yeah,
who knows? Maybe he takes the step.
What else?
This is. I'll maybe go negative. I'll go negative. I've spoken about Mitch. Got another one about Mitch, and maybe this goes against.
He doesn't play a game.
Well, it is that one of One of Marchbank or McGovern is not on the list come next year.
Wow. So hold on. No, I'm not.
There's my
I am not
hot
allowing
take.
that.
Oh, come
You
on.
cannot. You can. And then your third hot take is that he just has a fine year. That is
6 out of 10.
Acceptable. It's like, wow, Ian nailed one of his. Far out.
Yeah, I've got 100 predictions here, 10 on each player. No, but look,
no, you could get hotter than that. Is it Marchbank or is it McGovern?
So what I'm prefacing this with is I believe that Gov will become All-Australian. In the off chance that McGovern does his whatever, he's got about 1,000 injuries and does not play a game this season. You know, I have this feeling for me anyway, separate to that we're looking at all these injury prone players. You've got a Cunningham that's now injured as well. These guys that continually struggle to stay on the park. And for me, it's one of the Marchbank and McGovern. Like, I don't feel that both will go through this season injury-free. So whichever one doesn't is not going to be on the list. And I think from that, unfortunately, it might be a Marchbank. I hope it's not. Like, I hope both of them stay fit and they both stay on the list. But I just have this feeling that come season end, one of these players is not going to be there because they've had another injury-riddled season. So that's my, reasoning. You don't like it. You don't like it.
I think you don't want to say Marchbank because you're fearing the backlash of the people. But I'll allow it. But tweet at us if you think I'm off the mark here. I think that's kind of, I don't know, tech foul worthy or something for me in there. But I'll allow it. Fair take.
Well, hopefully
I do agree to a degree.
Hopefully I make up for it with a few of my others, but I want to hear from you is to see if I can rip to shreds any of your predictions because I'm feeling a bit attacked at the moment.
All right. I want to see you rip this one, and this will make you a fan favorite. Premiers.
Oh, boo. No,
no chance. When people have been asking me, just like, in my regular day-to-day non-podcasting life, how I actually think Carlton will go this year, I don't have a reason to not say that we're going to win the premiership. Last year, let's not get silly. Let's not get silly with it. Before, Michael Voss hadn't even coached a game. Who knows? All that stuff. That's silly. But this year, if everything goes right, I think we can do it.
I'd love to tear that to shreds, but I don't think I can, just for the reason of last season, our best. That quarter against Sydney that we all speak about. Those little moments, even that round 23 against Collingwood, third quarter, we had that chance to just tear the game open. Melbourne, we were up and about and had the chances to win it. We showed at our best that we have some of the best footy in the AFL that you can't stop. You've got Charlie, you've got Harry. Good luck stopping both of them. We've got a great midfield. If things go right, if injuries don't persist, if we get that mental edge, there's no reason why we can't. Like, we went 8-2 at one stage last year. We're playing some terrific football. We even thought that if we snuck into finals, like the way that we play this contested style of football, we're getting a few players back. We have a good chance to shock some teams because I think the way that we do play our game plan, and you talk about all our All-Australians and Brownlow medalists, Coleman medalists, like the talent's there to win you big games of football. There's no reason why if we put ourselves in that position, we can't go all the way. And that's normally a real nuffy thing to say, but I don't think it is anymore. This is our window now. It's from now for the next, 5-6 years with this list. We have to strike at some stage. Sometimes it takes that a few years in finals. Sometimes you just nail it straight off the bat.
Yep.
Why not? Let's bloody do it.
That was far too genuine and motivating. Now I feel bad for ripping you. But and
so you should. So you should. Yeah. See,
any others?
I've got 3 more actually. So I've got a few, but I don't know how spicy they all are. This one, I think it's close to it. I'll save a few, but this one is the Blake Acres. Yeah, I don't know if they're any super spicy, but Blake Acres to make the shortlisted All-Australian. Is it 40 squad, whatever the big one is, that Blake Acres makes that one. I think he was close last year. Now he's playing for a better team. We love our wingers. Yep. Blake is going to get it because he's had that year where the selectors know him now, and normally it's that season after he comes straight in and gets it done.
I love it. Yeah, I'm big on him this year. I've actually got a Blake Acres jersey in my cupboard. Shout out to Liam Stocker. So yeah, I think it's going to be a big one.
I love that. Do you have any more? Do you have a real spicy one for me, Lockie? I want you to go all out.
No, I don't. Hit us with your mild sriracha takes, mate.
Cool. Okay. The least spicy will be that now. Long-standing listeners of this podcast will know that for the past 2 seasons, I have brought the same prediction hot take back, and that was that Corey Durden will be I think it was like the 2nd or 3rd highest goal kicker, something like that. But look, I think that it's too hard to topple Harry and Charlie, but someone needs to be that 3rd. And so that my prediction, because last year it was Cripps, and I think this man was about 7 or so last year. But this year, Jesse Motlop will be the 3rd highest goal kicker on this Carlton list. He will get up there and he might even challenge. Who knows? Maybe he'll challenge one of those big boys. But that is my almost spicy.
Yeah, I completely endorse that.
Spiciest I have is that Adam Chera, top 3, Carlton BNF.
Yeah. Yep.
I can see there's a lot of good contenders out there. There's a lot of hard people to beat, but I don't know. I just feel like this is the year of Chera, and I don't think he'll do enough to win it. But I think top 3 is a big, big achievement for him, particularly with this list. I'm pretty happy and excited to see what he can do this year.
I like it, mate. Like, I think it's fair enough that with our track record of hot takes, you want to go a little bit less spicy to see if you can actually get some runs on the board. So I'll allow it. And then we can run it back next year once we've nailed all of those and get really spicy with it.
Exactly. Sometimes you need that little bit of cred. Look, this will be the only time that we interrupt this episode. So don't fast forward, please. We're just here for a bit of a special, important announcement.
Got the drum roll for you.
Ooh.
Boom!
Bang! We've got merch. We've got tees on sale right now. Bit more of a visual one. So if you're on YouTube, you can see them flying across your screen right now. If you're streaming, listening to this, unfortunately, you might not see them, but they are at time of recording, at time of listening, actually. They will be on our social. The link to these on our Beer Cartel will be in the show notes, will be in the description, all over our social media at Navy Blue Corner. They are hopefully lovely and beautiful for you guys. And look, all the money obviously goes to support this show and allow us to do some amazing things. And hopefully if we can keep raising the funds here, hopefully do a few giveaways as well for you guys that we'd love to do throughout the season. But yes, that is enough spruiking for me. That is the only time I'm going to interrupt this episode. Back to the show. But let's gear into something, again, super, super positive. Ones to watch. Lockie, who are your players to watch in 2023? The players that you expect to take that next step?
Well, it's a real shame that we have one brain shared between the two of us, because I think we're going to say a few names a few times on this. I'm going Mitch McGovern was the first name that I wrote down.
I like
it. Actually, the 2 names I have here are kind of like opposites, and we touched on it in the Collingwood game. But the guys I've got are McGovern and TDK. Because I feel like if we think about the Carlton community and then the AFL community, for McGovern, I think non-Carlton supporters just don't rate him. They don't know what is just waiting to be unleashed, which is what we're going to see this year.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited to watch if he can bring more, like his best parts of last season. If he can be delivering that in every game, my word, he's going to put himself on the map and get some respect back from the AFL community. And then TDK as well, I think is kind of the opposite, where other clubs are like, supporters from other clubs are saying, he'll get out of Carlton. He's going to be the best ruckman in the comp at what other club he goes to. And Carlton fans after last year are like, not sure whether he is going to get to that ceiling. So I think he's a really exciting one to watch. And for me, I'm optimistic that he will take that big leap. 23 years old.
He's
still so young, but this is the year.
Yeah, no, I like both of those. I think the one that goes without saying that he's on my list, but I don't want to go into it. It's clearly Jesse Motlop. He's the one everyone's talking about. We all think he's going to take that step, but that's a bit boring. So we'll park that conversation. I feel like we'll be speaking about him a lot in this preseason. I'll go through 2. I think I've just almost named one of them, and I spoke about one in a previous episode, but it's Adam Chera and Lockie Cowan. Chera, I was
Nice.
so high on him with his Fremantle season. I thought he was ready to explode. A little bit inconsistent last year. Didn't see the best of him. His best was unreal, but consistency probably wasn't there. And now with Walsh out for those first few months, I think he has that real good chance of getting even more opportunity and being able to really cement himself in this system, understands the players a little bit more, and he's at that ripe old age where he's sort of ready to explode. And just because he adds a different dynamic to Hewitt, Cripps, and Kennedy, he's a bit more of that outside runner with the skill. You want him, entering the ball inside 50, and I'm hoping that he can be the one on the end of all that grunt work from the others. And so I think for me, he's that one that goes from, that B kind of rated player to like, he's now like another elite midfielder that we have. I'm hoping that that's the step he takes. And the other, as I said, Lockie Cowan, just that, now that opportunity is open for him with that Zach Williams injury. You saw it in that little preseason game, the Pracky match against Collingwood, that spin and 80-meter bomb to find Harry. He's one of the longest kicks we have, really good by foot. He looked like he could play at the level. I don't know if he'll start round one, but I think he's someone you will see pretty early on in the season. And he just has those little highlight reel clips. And he's someone that, I was very bullish on in the draft, wherever he was going. And now that we've landed him, I think I'm pretty much his almost number one fan now. He's one that I'm expecting to really surprise a few. Do you have any others for me, Lockie?
They're the two that I had written. I mean, Motlop goes out saying I'm going to talk about him a bit later. Any more from you?
I had one, and I don't know if it can work anymore. It was the one that when we started the run sheet months and months ago, he was like nailed on. He's my one to watch. And he got injured. And so now I'm not too sure if we'll see much of him, but it was Jordan Boyd. I was buying all the stocks of Jordan Boyd possible. It was just something about him that off the back of last season, I just liked what he was doing. And I thought, another year in the system. He's just going to take that leap and that beautiful disposer of the ball. We want that transition. Thought there was a possibility he could push up the ground, maybe play some wing as well at times. I was very bullish on him. Might be a bit of a tough one now, then trying to break in with a few others, maybe getting that opportunity early. But I'll still have him as a one to watch because we saw glimpses last year, but I still really do like what I see in a Jordan Boyd to be that nice little role player down back.
Yep, I like it. Shout out to Rogers, man. You surprised me there, though. I thought Cunners was going to be the one there after the injury, but a big shame for Boydie. But let me hit you with another question. And I feel like each year we sometimes take this in different ways. So I'm excited to see where you go with it. Who is under the pump heading into 2023?
This is probably my longest list. There are so many players I could talk about. And so it's a hard thing of knowing where to go because I will just name a bunch of players that I have listed down that are out of contract.
Okay.
Just for the sake of, these are out of contract, so they're in a sense, there's some under the pump, and then we can kind of go into a few. But you've got likes of like De Koning, Gov, Marchbank, Cunningham, Silvani, Dow, Kemp, all believe out of contract. So there's a bit of issues with them. But I think the big one, it's maybe De Koning for me, a little bit under the pump. And it's an interesting way. This isn't like he's delisted at the end of the season, but he's out of contract. So he's wanting to maximize his money he can earn, whether that's a move away from Carlton or getting the most he can out of Carlton. We still don't know whether he's the number one ruckman or not. It's him and Pitt battling it out for it. I still have Pitternet over him at this stage. So I think for me I just want to see what we want from De Koning this year. I don't know if it's too early. I know ruckman sometimes take a few years, but we've seen glimpses. I just want to know if this guy is going to be a number one ruckman, if his forward craft improves and he's a forward ruck. For me, it's like, this is the season we need to see it from him. Like, no longer can we have Pitternet being out and it like every game, it's like, oh, he's still young, he's still developing. It's like, I'm sick of talking about that now with him. I'm sick of treating him like an 18-year-old. It's like, you've been in the system now. You need to show it in games. Like, so that's why for me, I think in a sense, he's under the pump because it's almost like a bit of a put up or shut up year from De Koning.
Yep. I like it. Like we mentioned on the Collingwood recap, I think we might get a little spicy on that when we talk best 22s because I have some strong opinions about that. But I agree with everything you said there. I think, yeah, every game he plays this year is going to be very interesting to watch and will give us more indications about what his future will hold.
Yeah, and it's not like a super negative thing at all. Like sometimes this segment is almost like a rev up. Like I want you to do a lot this season. But who do you have under the pump, Lockie?
Well, so I, equal to you, I was like, there's probably 15 guys I could talk about here, but I just did 3, and 2 of them you mentioned already, like Sauce.
Yes.
I think it's going to be really interesting. Like it feels like most Carlton fans are very high on him, and I am. I love him to death, but I think he could be a little bit under the pump come the end of the season, depending on what he dishes up. Because it's, again, one of those things where good, like we're going to get to this level where good isn't good enough, I guess is the way I'm going to put it. Like the expectations keep rising that if you want to be in this best 22, you can't just be doing nice things. Like you actually need to be fully taking that role. So he's one. And then the other guy that's kind of in that same position, I think, is Jack Martin.
Yeah. Big time.
He's had so many chances, and we probably talk about him in the under the pump every year because it's like, when is he just going to get a good run without any injuries and actually like deliver a full game and not just half a quarter where we're like, oh God, how flashy were those 2 moments? So, but I don't know what that's going to mean for him if he doesn't, like, if he doesn't keep delivering. But I mean, spoiler, he is not in my best 22.
Ooh. That's a big one. No, look, this segment is almost the Jack Martin under the pump segment. Like he's in there every single year. I agree with you. He's another one that, like, with the injuries, with everything, like at one stage last year, I said, like, I'm over it. Like I'm sick of talking about him. I'm sick of getting my hopes up, getting them crushed because he doesn't perform. And then all of a sudden he comes out and kicks like 4 goals against Melbourne and almost wins us the game. And you're like, it's so frustrating. Because you get so high and lows with him. I think, this is the year where it's like, I don't even know. I don't know if I'm expecting anything anymore. And maybe that's sad, but it's like I'm out of Jack Martin energy. Like I'm sick of putting in mental energy around, is this guy going to be good? Is he not? What are we getting? Like I'm weirdly at a stage where I just want someone else to be in the team because I'm like, someone else give me a go. But it's that hard thing because when he's out there and performing, it's like he's a match winner. But you just don't get that enough. So it makes sense he's under the pump. And the Silvani one's interesting. What's his role? Is he a half forward? Is he a ruckman, second ruck? And I think the big one when I'm looking at some of these players, it's now the way I'm looking at this is like, what is his strengths? What is his point of difference that he's better at than someone else that could play his position?
Yep.
And that's the struggle for me with the Silvani. Like, we love that he's hard on the sleeve. But like and people hate this. People hate this. This is not me knocking Silvani because I do like him as a player. But like everyone's so high on like the Liam Stocker-esque and the Silvani-esque of like, he's tough and he flies the flag. And I'm like, I don't give a shit about that. I want to win games of footy. I don't care if you're out there giving jumper punches to someone else. Like I kick a goal. Like do something tangible. Like I'm over this. Oh, he has a bit of toughness in him. Like I'm sorry, that doesn't cut it. Like you're saying, like. That isn't good enough now. We need people to win you games of football. And for Silvani, like some of his lead up work is really, really good and seems to get on the end of a lot. But he needs to finish it. He needs to kick those goals. He needs to offer something that someone else isn't because he's not the fastest. So is it that tackle pressure? Is that what he's bringing that someone else doesn't? Like I want him to maybe nail down his role. And maybe that's been tough for him because, as I mentioned, he's been thrown into that ruck position last year. But it is a year for him to sort of show us exactly what he is. We've seen bits of it, but nail it down for us. And so he's someone that I think can be that best 22 and figure it out. But apart from him, I probably have a couple of others, and it's similar to that. Like it's definitely Brody Kemp is someone that fits that whole narrative of it's like, what's your position? What are you good at? I'm still not sure. I'm not convinced. Is he the best disposal? No. Is he fast? No. He can move a little bit better than someone of his height down back as that third tall at times, but we're all still living off that spin move and awful kick against St Kilda. Like, that's it. And so I don't know. He's very down that pecking order as that third defender, definitely down the pecking order even worse as a key forward. I'm just not sure what he is. And that's another question mark for me and why I think he's under the pump, because I believe he's out of contract. So it's what are you? Do we keep you on for another year? He's had a bunch of injury niggles throughout. He was a high draft pick. He needs to show me something. And then you've got, plenty of other guys there. Your Jack Carroll's another who's probably got another year to figure it out, but with a strong midfield. Like, is he that inside midfielder? Is he an outside? Is he a half forward? Is he a winger? I want him in the twos this year. Like, my challenge to him, if there is one, it's like, I want him to find what his niche is and just go about it for a full season in the VFL. And then we'll see where he is in a year. And if he gets a couple of looks in throughout the season, beautiful. But he feels like another one of those players where it's like, I'm not sure exactly where he best lines up on paper at the moment.
Yeah, no, I generally agree. I mean, for Kemp, for me, I would be extremely surprised if they were to delist him or, get rid of him for peanuts. I put him more in the Carroll boat, where I think he'll have at least one more year to kind of put it together. Like, 6 games is just. I agree that we in those 6 games and VFL and everything, we haven't locked down who he is yet. But I think at 20 years old, he's still. We need to give him a little bit more grace to do it. So, but I see your point. I'd be surprised if he was a massive contributor this year. Like, I think we'd have to see some injuries for him to have a really big go at it in the AFL.
Yeah, no, I agree with that point. And I think it's almost maybe a bit like a Carroll, where it's almost like looking at that VFL. Like, I want Brodie Kemp to be an outstanding player in most games
100%.
in the VFL, because he hasn't really done that recently. Like, you're not looking at the twos going, oh, is he pushing for selection? Like, he's playing really well here. I feel he gets lost a little bit. He's been thrown around different positions. He's had his injury troubles. So development hasn't been ideal, but it's another year for me here where it's like, I need a glimpse of something, because I don't think I've had that. And when I want that to see the ceiling of a player and expect something to be like, oh, give me another year to see what we have, I want enough highlights to grasp from. I don't think I have that right now. And I don't know if that's too harsh, but I mean, for all of these, like, let us know who are your ones to watch, your under the pumps. We'd love to hear them, and we'd love to know why as well. Because I think that's the key thing. Don't just throw out a name. Give us your reasoning. And with that, this is a bit of a tough one I'll throw for you, Lockie. Okay. Because it's what will be our big improvement area in 2023. I'm not looking for player. But what is some part of us that will be your improvement, or maybe that you're even wanting to be that big improvement area, so we can look back and be like, yeah, we've nailed it.
I'm probably going to take more of the latter approach, because I wrote these 2 things down probably at like the start of January, when I was starting to get my taste for footy again. And it pains me to say it, but I felt like the injuries, if that can all just click for a year, where we have one of those like Melbourne's premiership year where we're just rolling the same guys out every single week and they get that consistency, like that's something that we would look at 2022 and 2023 and be like, wow, you could see how much of a difference that made. Like, I can't remember if we said it on this episode or the one that we just recorded before, but we would have won that Collingwood game last year if Hewitt and Kennedy were there. And not to say that we should only be able to win when our best 22 is there. Like, we need to have the next man up. We need to have the depth. But it's just a fact that when you've got our best guys out there versus the guys who are in the 22 to 30th best players, it makes a massive difference. So this is me manifesting that while this offseason hasn't been the best so far, that we are going to look back on this season and go, wow, we actually did in the end improve the consistency of guys in the park.
No, clean slate it from here on out.
Yes.
No more injuries for us, please. Yeah. My thing, this has been a bugbear. I think we spoke about it a little bit in the Collingwood preseason pracky match, sort of match review. And it goes from that, it feels like every time we get the ball, we work so hard for our goals, and then whenever we win the ball, it's
love that.
So I was chatting to big Baz, Paul Barbaza at the practice match, and we were having the same discussion. He was sort of really raised this point, and it was like, how many times do we like win the ball out, and it's like we don't have like 7 guys just streaming into goal by themselves. Like we don't get that easy goal, but it happens so much the other way.
Yeah.
Like as soon as we lose it, it's like, oh, they always have a guy out the back, and we never seem to have that. So I think my big improvement is that we now limit the impact like off our turnovers. We don't give the opposition consistent, easy goals because there's so many times that our turnovers seem to always be goals against. And yeah, if we want to win premierships, if we want to go deep into finals, that needs to change. We can't be just allowing cheap, easy goals where everyone goes up for the ball and there's 3 opposition players ready on the ground to walk it in. That's no longer happening. That's our big improvement this year.
Love it. I mean, that kind of ties into the second one that I had written down, which was just the way that, and I guess it goes to how we get our goals, but the way that we go inside 50, because I think there's so much improvement that we can have in that area where the actual disposal from the guys going in there, the decision-making from those guys, and then also just the way that the forwards, well, not even just the forwards, everyone is working together to make sure that the right guys have the right lanes, have the right space, the right spacing so that, like we saw in that preseason game, Collingwood can't have 3 guys on Harry. Like, we don't, like the way that we structure doesn't allow for that to happen. And when it does happen, we make them pay by going with the other route. So,
and we've got 3 guys spare ourselves because it's like, well, where are they? They should be open somewhere.
That's what I'm saying. So it's just us being really aware of that and having, the right structure in place that we can make them pay when that happens. God, I would love us to improve on that. Please.
Oh, I think so. Yeah. My other one real quick is just like game management. Like that has to be the big improver. Like when games are tight, when we need to take pressure off it and understand the tempo of the game, none of this panicking anymore. We know what we're doing. We know how to win games of footy, or we at least know how to lose games of footy. So do the opposite. And that will be the big difference this year. Yeah, I think those were mine.
Let's move on. Maybe won't be as much discussion about this one, but I'll see if you've got a whole bloody list of dot points there. Where do you see us finishing on the ladder this year? Have you run the numbers?
I haven't done a ladder predictor yet. I've been trying my hardest to just don't get too sucked into that stuff because I will spend too much time on that every single day. But look, expectation-wise, I want us as high as possible, get into that top 4. But I think realistic for me, if I'm predicting a ladder position, it's 5th. That's where I've got us at the moment, but I'm aiming higher, if that makes sense. Like, I want us and think we should be finishing higher, but yeah, that's my prediction. What about yourself?
Yeah, well, it's kind of like the 8th, 9th of us last year because I've got 4th, but with the number of wins that I've got us having, it's kind of like, it's going to depend on some other teams, but I think that 4th, 5th feels right. But I don't want to say 5th and then say that we're going to win the premiership.
Feels crap.
4th feels a bit more doable if that's going to be my take.
Yeah, I love it. Let's go to the next one. Who is your leading goal kicker?
Big H. Yeah, it's his time again.
The exact same.
Take that crown back. You can't go the Kerno call again. We don't allow that. Yeah,
I've gone the exact same. I think I'm happy for these two to just keep switching Colemans every year. I'd be pretty down with that one. It just has to be Harry. I think Charlie's had his time. Harry's sitting back going, I've got to do it again. Be his year.
Yeah, love it. All right, so the next one we have here, as you take a little sippy, is the John Nichols medal.
Yeah.
Who you got?
Very tough one. Very tough one. A lot of good players.
I can already tell.
Oh, I feel like don't take mine seriously. I thought this was a good one. This was like a bit more niche. I feel like you got it. Mine is Sam Doherty.
Oh!
I thought that was a good one. I thought it was going to be different. Oh, I hate you so much. That was my little smoky. I'm upset. I am upset. Now, look, we've probably got the exact same reasoning. It was like, look, Cripper's superstar, all those things. But Doc didn't really have a proper preseason last year, obviously, with everything kind of going on. The man played unbelievably. He's ready to go. More midfield time. He's just the ultimate clubman, ultimate superstar. It's his year to shine. Can you just say someone else? You've just ruined the whole show. I'm ready to just almost end it here. I don't want to talk anymore.
Not. I'll put everything I have on it. He was so close last year. The energy in the room at the medal, it was like, oh, okay. Yeah, cool. Cripps won. But everyone in that room was like, nah, stuff him. Doc's going to get this. Everyone was rooting for him. So I think he'll deliver this year. And a little bit of midfield time as well, I think won't hurt his chances.
Yes, I agree. And then the next one. So yeah, pretty much all of these. I want all of your thoughts for the listeners. So I'll be trying to chuck these out on socials, get all of them collated. So at the end of the season, we can come back and we've nailed all of them, because we do have votes for a lot of these as well. So it'll be interesting to see where some of these, like this next one, goes in our awards, because it's the most improved, Lockie. Who will be your most improved player?
Boring take from me is that it's going to be Motlop. I just don't see how, from the floor, from where he's coming from last year, we were like, yeah, there's something here, but we're not seeing it every week. Mate, you've got him in your bloody... No, wait, I had him in the All-Australian. You had him as our third leading goal kicker. We're high on him. Everyone's high on him. I'm not going to get cute with this pick.
Yeah. I'm going to go different, because that sucks. I'm going to go Adam Chera, my boy. I've bigged him up whole podcast.
Great pick.
As I said, take that step from B to elite midfielder. That is what I'm hoping. So he's my most improved. Yeah, Smokey for that. Could be delisted. Could stay. Kayla Marchbank. I've gone the 50-50, mate.
Yeah.
Gotta put that money on all the little things.
It's just like another step above fence sitting. It's it's a form of fence sitting, but it doesn't look like fence sitting.
I've just built 2 fences. That's it. I've just built 2 fences.
The listeners
sit on whichever one I like.
Through you right now, mate. It's not just me.
It's
shall we talk AFL and not just Carlton for a couple?
Well, who knows? Maybe they will be Carlton related.
Oh, that's actually a really good point. Brownlow, you putting a punt on this year? Who you taking?
Well, I had this man sewn in.
I'm gonna see what.
And then he's gone and hurt his hamstring, and he hasn't played in the first practice match. I actually have no idea how long the injury is going to be, what's going on, but I'm just going to stick with it, because it's the man that I think will win the Brownlow. It is Touk Miller will win the
this podcast is over.
Brownlow. It's Touk. Don't tell me you've got him again. Done.
I've got Touk Miller, and I even wrote down how to pronounce his name, because I didn't want to be that guy saying Took like every other nuffy out there. That's how serious I am on this. Luke with a T. That's what he said.
I love that you've actually gone, Googled and watched multiple videos of this man trying to pronounce his name. That's effort. But are you worried about the hamstring injury? Is that going and factoring into your Brownlow medal chances?
Absolutely not. I think Gold Coast are going to be worse than ever, and he is going to just stand out like a sore thumb there.
I think I just saw that one picture of him in preseason, and I was like, put the Brownlow medal on him. That's done,
not, isn't he? But that's how much I stand by. I could have just gone Clary or Lockie Neal, because we know it's simple. But I put the effort on that pick.
Yeah, if a Carlton player doesn't win it, we're all on the Touk train. Now we're going a big one. Premiership. Yes. You've said in your bold predictions that we're winning the flag. So do you have the balls to say that it's us here winning the flag?
You already know that I do. But I've got who we'll be playing against, just in case people aren't on the bandwagon as much as me. What are you going to say? Go on.
I was going to say, last year you were hitting me with these Nostradamus-like visions that you were getting. Like, that's so Raven. You were all of a sudden walking across, hit by a vision of the exact scenario of the grand final, who was playing, who kicked the match-winning goal. Yep. I'd hate to say it, but
it couldn't have been more wrong.
Correct. So I don't know what's going on with these visions. Have you had any premonitions this year about anything? Because if you have, I'll make sure to do the complete opposite.
Genuinely couldn't have been more off. Didn't pick either of the ones that made the grand final. So, take my take here with the biggest load of salt ever. But I think it is Brizzy, I think, are in such a good position to finally take that leap. Some people have written them off. They're like, no, they've had their chances. Oh, absolutely. When I say this prediction to others, it's like, no, they've had all they've proven that they can't go to that next level. They can't deliver when it comes to the big stage. But I think with Dunkley added, I would back them in to make it to the grand final and then lose to us.
No, I like that. And it's good to see that you're not going Brisbane win the grand final like you have the previous 2 years. Good to see we're finally changing it up. I think last year was a big rehash of everything. And look, I want to put a certain something on the table here, but I don't know if I can. So I have gone Brisbane winning the flag. Very unpopular. Very unpopular. I see, this is the thing. We could win the flag. I hope we win the flag, obviously.
We will.
I just have this feeling that we will make the prelim this year and heartbreakingly not do it and then win it the next year. The very boring, you make finals, then you go on to do it the next year. And so, I think it will be Brisbane, and then we go on in heartbreaking fashion to then go on to win the next 3. Why not? Spurs us on.
Wow. All right.
There's your hot take. There's your hot take.
You probably should have included that at the top.
3-peat.
Prelim into 3-peat. That's not a hot take. That's set in stone.
Take it to the bank.
What about the other end? Spooners? Don't say Brisbane. That's you. That's how you finish. It's going to be probably between Carlton and Brisbane.
Lockie Neal, knee might go, and all of a sudden you might see him on the bottom. No, look, there's a team I would love.
I swear to God, if you have written down what I have here, I actually want the episode to cut. And if people look at their phone and there's still 10 minutes, they'll know it's not the same. But I don't want to hear it.
Oh, don't put this pressure on me.
I'm also so bullish on my pick that I would never, it's locked. Oh,
okay. Well, I'm bullish on one, but then the other is who I want it to be, who I think is a good chance, but I'm not as bullish. So I feel like I'll probably name it. I'll save my not so bullish one for you, but my absolute lock, the lock wooden spoon is Hawthorn.
Yeah.
It has to be Hawthorn, just for that.
It's not who I
like. I like what they're doing with their little rebuild. I think it could be good, but I just think they've cut their midfield way too thin. They've done what we've done. I still don't know where their goals are coming from, getting rid of, Gunston. I'm like, who's kicking goals? Their midfielders are all 18-year-olds. I just cannot see them being great. But I have a feeling the team that you have for Wooden Spoon is who I want the Wooden Spoon to be. So good to see that this episode will continue for another 3 hours. Thank you. Let's go.
I want you to say it just in case. Finish off your little spiel.
Well, the team I would want it to be, and I just had this weird feeling that it's all just going to go tits up and they'll do it. Essendon.
Oh, wow. Wow. No, that's not who I had, but I would. Oh, my God. There would be nothing better.
The wheels will fall off them. what do they got? Zach Merritt is their captain because he's a tough clubman, tells it like it is. I don't see that when I think of Zach Merritt. So good on you guys. Enjoy.
Yeah.
But who have you got? Who have you got? You've built it up now. I'm very excited.
Actually,
I think I can figure out who it is now, and maybe it makes me want to change my answer because if the wheels fall off this club, I will almost throw a party. It's going to be hilarious. Who you got? The tension is rising.
I'm seeing a real peek behind the curtain of how you feel about different teams, which I didn't know. Because I don't know if I'd feel that crazy about this team doing it. For me, it's the orange team.
Oh, no. Haven't nailed it.
Maybe that's not a sexy pick, but I think they have laid all the right foundations for a real nice 3-win season. And I think it is going to be tight between them and Hawthorn. Hawthorn is definitely the other one that I consider. But, I mean, again, they were terrible last year. And obviously Taranto's gone. Hopper's gone. Hill wasn't really around it, but he's gone. De Boer's retired. I mean, our man Jared Brander. What?
Podcast favourite.
Steiny? Mate. There's nothing. The only good thing there is Tom Green, and that's all.
Yeah, I think what separates those is I still think their midfield's good. Like you got Cogs, you got Josh Kelly, Tom Green in there.
No.
I think they've got enough. Finn Callahan takes a bit of a step. I think they've got enough little pieces there. Goals again is a bit of an issue, but no, it's not. It's an interesting one. Because I sort of went there. The other team that they're my not wooden spoon prediction, but like I just have this feeling they're finishing like bottom 3. And that's St Kilda. It's St Kilda.
Wow.
I have wheels falling off. Mate. They've just brought in this. They've gone like typical Carlton. They've gone Ross the boss. They've brought in Sauce. They've got the band back together. And I just have this feeling that it's like it's all going to go tits up. I still don't rate their list. I don't rate their club.
No, I don't rate them either.
Big shout out to Cam Dempster, absolutely riling up some St Kilda fans on Twitter. He just took the words out of my mouth there because they are a nothing football club, and it would make me incredibly happy just to see them disappear into nothing. It just make me laugh.
Yeah.
So I hope they end up down there.
I've enjoyed this. This has kind of made me remember, how many of these organizations I just have no respect for. So
it's boring. They're dull.
We didn't even mention North. They won 2 games last year, and they lost. The man, Jason.
I'm way too bullish on North being okay this year.
Really?
Last season. I mean, we're if you're still listening to this pod at this stage,
I'm sorry.
Well done. Well done. But I don't know. I had this thing last year where I was chatting to mates going like, I don't think North are as bad as everyone's making it out to be. Like I'm looking at the bare bones of their list being like, I've got a decent defender, decent forward. I've got some okay piece in the midfield, LDU, Jai Simpkin. They've got a bit. This is the bloody shin bonus podcast, if ever there was one.
They've got 3 decent players. So
bring in Clarko. I feel like they're going to be out of that bottom 3. They're still not going to be great, but I don't see them being a shit show as they were. Give that to the Sainers and the Bombers, thanks. That'll be it. But
I like it.
we'll get back to something. We'll get back to some Carlton chatter to end this one, even though we will talk about other teams. But we're making finals. We're winning the flag.
Yes.
So who is dropping out of finals? Who is dropping out of that top 8 so we can slide in there, Lockie? Because someone has to jump out of there. Who is moving out?
Well, I think you'll like this as well, thinking about the clubs that we don't love. I think there's going to be a lot of movement in the 8, but I've actually only got one team going out for us to come in. And might be against what some people think, but I think it's the Tigers for me that are going to take a step back. I think they overperformed last year, and I think that's going to reflect this year. It's not going to be a massive drop off. They'll still be around it, but I just don't think it'll kind of come together like it did for them.
So you're not bullish on the old Taranto Hopper coming in? You're
not
bullish enough that you think that you take them out and GWS go to the bottom. You bring them into another team and that's not good and they digress too.
It's a real kind of Ian Brownie kind of take both sides situation, as the people are going to talk about it after this infamous episode.
Don't coin this as a thing. This is not going to be a thing where it's like, oh, doing a brownie, are you?
You think you're going to bring all these bloody segments this season? There's mine. Where we can, I don't know, whip up a logo or something for that. That'll be, here's my Ian Brownie take of the day. And there it is.
Don't worry. I edit the podcast, so those will get cut. They will never see the light of day. In fact, this discussion, gone. You're not going to hear this. Any bad words that have come onto me, any slander, not in the podcast. But no, I mean, they are an interesting one. Like it could actually go both ways. Like the injection of those two could keep them into finals, which is so dumb. Obviously, there's 2 outcomes, but it's like there's a good chance that because of the other aging players and it maybe not working out, that they really do take that step back. And I can see it, but the one I have in particular is the Western Bulldogs, which is maybe surprising. But I mean, it looks like their game plan at this stage is kick the ball as high as possible in that forward line and hope one of the big bean poles can mark it. Because I've got about 7 key forwards down there. Their game plan is like, I want the biggest men that you've got and put them in that goal square. And I'm like, markers up. I don't know how this is going to work. I don't like it.
We do love markers up, but
you can get a washed up Liam Jones down back. I still don't think that helps your key defenders. Take Josh Dunkley out of there. Their best midfielder. Jack McRae takes a back step. I don't know. I'm not bullish on the Doggies whatsoever. They took our spot, Stephen Bradbury, it, and I just don't see them being amazing. And probably the other one is Freo. I've been bullish on them, but I don't know. I'm not sold. I feel like they could fluctuate and be that one to drop out. But either way, I don't think anyone's going to need to drop out when you finish on top of the ladder, you know?
No. And that's the thing. Like, as I look at it, I'm like, I like your Fremantle take. And a lot of people are also going with the Sydney route. Like, you know, the old, you get embarrassed. Things are ruined for the next season. But there's no one, as I look outside of that 8, that I'm like, I don't have faith in Port. Obviously, Essendon, you've got Wooden Spoons and Kilda down. Like, I don't know who is going to make that leap up there. So that's why I'm like, there'll be some movement, but just the Tigs for me. I like your Bulldogs call.
Yeah. I mean, to keep it very AFL non-Carlton related, those other teams that I think we're like competing for to push in, it's like Port have obviously gone big, trying to bring in a lot of players to do it. But I watched them play West Coast, you know, it's a practice match, but like nothing really excited me with them. I still don't think their list is great. West Coast could be someone that bounces up, but I don't see them doing enough to make finals. Like, I think they'll obviously do better with players, but I don't think they're making finals. And apart from that, like, the only other person is Tuke Miller's Gold Coast, but I don't think they'll do well enough to make the final. So, I mean, it's going to be a very interesting year. I think the only thing you can really nail it on is that Carlton are going to play some great footy and finally make finals. I think that's the only thing that you can take out of this episode. But again, let us know all your predictions. Every single one of these I'll be posting on socials, getting your guys' thoughts. And it'll be a fun one come season end to look back at this, see that we've nailed every single one of them, which is easy when I've, got 2 different alternatives for every single question. You've got to nail one of them. But look, that is going to wrap this episode here.
Hold the phone.
Yep.
Did we talk about merch for a single second in the last 2 hours of recording? We have 4 T-shirts sitting in my study, just waiting to be sold. They went out in a flurry the day that we announced merch. It was like, this is going to sell out within a day. People, if these larges are still up when this episode goes live, get onto our big cartel and get them out of here. I'll write you a nice little letter with it. It'll be beautiful. They're great quality. I got nothing else to say on the matter.
Good.
We're 52 minutes in and we mentioned merch.
Don't you worry. You've mentioned that now. This is, peek behind the corner, behind the
corner.
You've lost me. But don't worry. I'll whip something up. There'll be a bit of a merch plug to start these episodes, but I don't think I'll need to because I trust the people. I back them.
Yeah, I trust the people too.
They'll be gone. Don't you worry about it. Those couple of larges. If you're a medium, don't worry, mate. You get into the large. You'll enjoy a bit of an oversized. If you're a large, you'll like your regular fit. Get whatever you feel comfortable in.
And
the large will suit. Get the guns out. I want to see a bit of a tighter shirt on you. So the large will fit everyone. But no, seriously, if you do want some merch, there might be a couple of tees left. Big cartel in the links. Lockie's lost it. I think that's a perfect way to end this episode. We've recorded too much today and we've lost our minds. There'll be plenty more content coming up throughout this season. Go Blues. See you guys next time.